good morning, good afternoon, good night for everybody. Depends on where you are in the world. So today I'm going to do this live, and I have a special guest. Her name is Raphael. She is from New Zealand, and we are going to talk about the topic of feminine energy with the name of unlocking your feminine energy. So Raphael, she's already here. I will invite her to come. Welcome to everybody that is coming on. Hello, Raphael.
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm so great. I'm just sitting in my hammock. I've got my cacao. I'm very excited for this discussion.
I'm glad to see you. Where are you right now?
I am in Lo de Marcos, north of Puerto Vallarta. So for people who are not familiar, I'm in Mexico, just on the other side.
Uh-huh. Oh, nice to see you again.
Yeah.
So for the ones who doesn't know, so me and Rafael, we met here in Mexico. We are both in Mexico. I'm in Valladolid, in Oaxaca, in Yucatan, and we resonate with each other's energy, and we have this idea to bring this collaboration together, talk about feminine energy, since we understand that we both talk about this topic, but in different areas. So before everything, Rafael, I would like you to present yourself, please, for the ones who
Sure.
don't know you.
Yeah. Hi. So I'm Raphael. I'm from New Zealand. I am an awakening alchemist and a shadow work guide. So I work with people at all stages of their awakening to help unlock their healing abilities, to help you find your own path of healing so that you're not dependent on anybody else. And I do a lot of different alchemy work, including tapping into your feminine energy in your business, in your life. And so, yeah, that's what I do.
And where are you from?
From New Zealand. I live in Wanaka. If people know New Zealand, it's very close to Queenstown. It's a beautiful, beautiful space.
Wow, nice, really nice. So we are really far from each other, but we met together in Mexico. Everything happens for a purpose.
Yeah, we're like
So
other sides of the world, and we kind of met in the middle of the world because you're from Portugal and I'm from New Zealand, like literally other sides. And then, yeah, we met like the middle in Mexico.
exactly. So for the ones who doesn't know me, my name is Alícia, and I am from Portugal. And I'm a coach and therapist working with women on Tantra and Conscious Sexuality. So to help them to tap on also their feminine energy, which is usually forgotten. And we will talk about that. So I help them also to work on self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence, to reconnect with their feminine energy in a personal way. And in your case, it's more turned to the professional way. How do we connect to that? But before we enter this topic, I would like to ask you: have you since when are you working this work that you are doing, and what led you to transform your life, your business life, let's say?
Yeah. So my journey started in 2016. So before then, I was working in corporate. I was very happy. I had this like very well-paying job, was living in a city, busy in my corporate job. And then I went traveling and I went to Scotland, and I was drugged at a nightclub in Scotland. And when the drugs hit me, I just had all of my intuition and all of my abilities just open up like that, just overnight. I went from just being like not interested in spirituality or energy or not even believing in any of this to seeing spirit, seeing auras, seeing energy. And so then I had like 3 years of my own journey of working out what was going on, I had a lot of physical health problems that came up, and I had to have surgery, and all sorts of things happened. I had a pretty crazy journey. It's on my stories and my highlights, my journey. If anyone is interested, they can pop onto my Instagram, and it's on there as a highlight. And as I started to do that, I started to have people come to me for support and advice. And then I started to work as a healer about 2.5 years ago, but doing quite different work, doing energy healing work, Reiki, chakra connection, things like that. And then I moved into doing coaching work, and I became a qualified counsellor. And I moved into the alchemy work and awakening coaching. And yeah, it still continues to grow and shift. And now I bring in a lot of business coaching from my past of working in corporate, working as a consultant, working in government, and helping people, not just women, but also men, to build their businesses in a more gentle way, as we will be talking about today.
Exactly. So we actually have a different but somehow similar path. Since I was also working, I can't say it was not that corporate because it was a hospital. I used to work as a nurse, so I had other type of life totally, and I realized that I was not in tune with my own truth. So I realized that yes, I wanted to help people, but not in the way that modern medicine does it, because I like to go to the roots of the issues. So I also had this moment, which was a Reiki session, in which I used to be very, very logic, very scientifical, and I still am a little bit, but now I decided, or I ended up to open myself to other realms somehow. And since this Reiki session, I also felt a lot of stuff that I hadn't felt before, and I had to open my mind and my mindset to things that I was not used to and that I used to refuse somehow. So I also started my path in the holistic therapies. I study a bunch of them, first for my self-healing, and later on I ended up to start helping people with this. And then Tantra and Conscious Sexuality came to my life, and it was undeniable that it was transforming me. And now I'm helping other women to do the same. So somehow I started to flow with my own truth for this path. What is, for instance, feminine energy for you, and how did you start to put it in your life somehow when you connect to this new work?
Yeah. So for me, initially, when I was thinking about feminine energy, I was like, oh, that's what it is to be a woman, right? And so I had all of these expectations and all of these views about what feminine energy was, and they were really connected and related to society. What society says a woman should be, what society says is beautiful. And as I started to break down some of those in my own journey and my own work with myself and my sexuality and my gender and my relationship to beauty as well, I think is a big part of it, I started to question and go, well, actually, that's not what femininity is. Femininity can be in anybody, like any man, any woman, anybody who identifies at any gender can have femininity. It's actually an energy and it's a way of being. And so as I started to discover this and started to heal my own relationship with my femininity in my personal life, I started to unlock a lot of these beautiful learnings about sisterhood, about relationships, about collaboration, about rest, about nurture, all of these things that I'm sure we'll talk about more. And then what I did was I started to translate that into my business, because I work as a coach, I work doing therapy and all sorts of different things, but I was running my business how society said I should run my business. So I was running my business, still working 30, 40 hours a week. I was stressed all the time. So much of what I was doing, so much of my launching was from fear. And I didn't want to live my life like that. I was just getting burnt out and burnt out. And I think when we don't bring any feminine energy into our lives, in our professional life in particular, we just keep getting burnt out. And I think if you're having lots of burnouts, this is a sign that you're sitting in that very masculine energy of competition, of faster, more efficient, like let's keep going, like profit, excuse me. And I went, there's got to be a better way to do this. And so I started to slow down and listen to my rhythms and listen to my body, and started to translate a lot of what I'd learned from beautiful things like what you'll be talking about with tantric energy and that beautiful self-healing. I started to translate that into my business, and it just was magic. I started to work less. I started to make more money. I started to feel a lot more confident in myself and in what I was sharing. My content started becoming super popular. Like, people wanted to be working with me. I had people, like, my reels just started getting like so many more views. I started getting so many more followers. I got more book sales because I'm an author, so I've written a couple of books, and I got more book sales through. And so much of it was actually me holding myself back because I was only in that masculine driving energy. And when I started to sit in the feminine, in that flow, in the collaboration, in the trust, in the rest, I was able to unlock this potent energy that meant that things just were like,
When you talked about burnout, I remember as a nurse to study about burnout, how common it was for nurses to get into a burnout. And we would keep studying this, and instead of how can we avoid burnout, it's like, well, we have to deal and understand that there is a burnout at some point of your professional life, and you have to deal with that. I was like, come on, but that makes no sense at all. And I used to be this person, always like a very structured on the control. Everything was planned, everything was logic, and I have, yeah, I need to have this control about my life. And at some point, I realized this, and I realized this was not good for me, because I realized that I was not allowing the flow to come into my life. So I broke this the first time, and I did my first trip alone out of Europe, first time in my life, with a backpack, and with no plans at all. In this case, it was to Costa Rica. So I really went out of my comfort zone to break all the patterns that I used to live with somehow. And and this path also starts on the holistic therapies, because I was also feeling like I was hearing, oh, this is calling me. Maybe, yeah, should I go to just have a look? And then it will resonate a lot on me, and I would feel like, oh my God, this was exactly what I was in need. And this is helping me to understand better myself, to heal myself. And then from that point, I would hear about something else, and I said, oh, now this is interesting me. Let's go. Let's explore this.
Yeah, and that's that beautiful flow, right? And I think what's interesting when you said about nurses and this burnout is that so much of the medical system in all of the world, because it's the same in New Zealand, it's all over Europe, it's a lot the same in the States and in Canada, a lot of people I've worked with there. And it's all designed with this purely masculine energy, right? It's that efficiency, it's that programmed, it's that analytical. And some people, they need that, yeah? Like, some people, that's how their brains work. Some people, that's how they flow. No matter whether they're a man or a woman, some people sit in that masculine all the time. But for people like us, for people like probably some of you listening to this and watching this, when you have that creative in you, when you have that healer in you, when you have that flow and that desire to be nurturing people, I think that's when you get really sick, and that's when you get really burnt out, when you have only the masculine energy. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. For me, like every time that we are very focused on our masculine energy, we go like this for we go for action. We are all the time on the how to say, yeah, on the action. No, we plan. We are very determined. We take the action for. We are very structured, logical, and having the control of everything, which is actually very important. For instance, to start a business, like you and me, we need to have these characteristics on us to help us, but also the balance. So it's not because I'm a man, I'm a woman, that I have just feminine energy. I also have my masculine energy, the same way that all men has their masculine and feminine energy. And if I don't allow myself, like I don't connect with my truth, because I have cycles. No, we as a women we have cycles. Also, men have their own cycles, even though they are not that known. And if I respect my cycles, at some point I need to be more introspective. No, and I need to connect with my feeling. I need to understand what is going on inside. What is my body telling me? Am I having pleasure? Am I having pain? Is this leading me to where I want to? Is it feeling smooth, or it's feeling very hard to go for it? Why am I doing a big effort for that? Is it really the way that it should be? Should I be struggling all the time without being connected with myself? No?
Yeah, definitely. And it's that balance, right? And unfortunately, and this is part of why we're talking about this in this live, I've got a bug around me, is that so much of society is only focused on that masculine energy. And there is so much healing to do in the feminine energy, in the way we do business, in the way that we live our lives, in the way we feel about ourselves. And that's why we talked about this and wanted to do this live together, because there's so much opportunity in all of us to connect to our feminine energy more.
Definitely. How would you say, for instance, if we just said, like, to start a business, we need a strong masculine energy with all that qualities to organize. How would you say along the business, if you are all the time on the masculine energy, you get a burnout? So my question is, what is a business ruled by a feminine energy? How can you bring this feminine energy to the business? Somehow.
Yeah. And this is for people who have their own business. This is also for people who are working in a business. You can apply this to your life. Anyone who's working or thinking about starting a business. So yeah, I think in the beginning, especially if you're starting a business, if you're just starting a new job, it's good to have some masculine energy in your life, because it helps you to plan. It helps you to have that drive to move forward and to try things, because when we start a business, we need to be trying things, we need to be experimenting. But if we stay only in that masculine, we're always pushing, always driving, and we're not listening to our bodies, and we're also not necessarily celebrating our wins. And it's very easy to get very hard on ourselves and get very judgmental and go, oh yeah, I got that new client, but I'm still not making enough money to like leave my old job. Or, oh, I got that promotion, but they didn't give me as much money as I wanted. Or, you know, when we get into that energy too much, it becomes that nothing is ever quite right. And that's where I see that it starts to become a problem. There's an imbalance. And so then when we start to bring in feminine energy, which I think is important to have right from when you begin your business or all the way through your career, but particularly if you have your own business, I think when you're like, after you've had 1 year or so, you've worked with a few people, you have some testimonials, you're feeling more confident in what you're doing, it's so powerful to lean into that feminine energy, because when you lean into the feminine energy, you realize that you are the creator of your worlds, and that your desires and your passion and your energy is what is giving you the success. It's not Instagram, it's not your advertising, it's not your boss, it's not your clients. It's actually how connected you are to your identity, how connected you are to your message, and how passionate you are, and how much you look after yourself. Whether you have your own business or whether you are working for somebody. And so the feminine energy is about coming back to ourselves, coming back to our bodies, coming back to who we are at that deep level, and connecting to that love, and then sharing that love without expectation, without conditions. Instead of going, oh, I'm going to work with you, but only if you give me, you know, X, Y, Z, and everything has to be perfect. You know, like if you have your own business, it's about collaborating with somebody because you love their message or you love them as a person, and less about their follower numbers or, you know, like how much you're going to get out of the relationship. And like this live, for example, right? It was just like,
Exactly.
we had this beautiful conversation, and it was like, we have so much in common. Let's share this. And that's feminine energy, rather than, oh, let's have contracts and let's organize these things and we do all of this and blah, 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 you know? And so when you have a business and you're established, what I find is that a lot of people, they start to make money and maybe they leave their other job and they have a business and they're like, cool, okay, I have this business now. I thought I would be happy. I thought that I would be free. I'm working for myself, but I'm still unhappy. I'm still burning out. I'm still exhausted. I'm still working all of these hours. And just because I'm making the money that I don't have to be working for somebody else, I'm not happy. And that's the opportunity. That's the really key opportunity. That's often where I work with people, is when they're in that stage where they're like, I have this business and I thought that working for myself would make me happy, but actually it's not. There's something missing. There's something wrong. Or I've been working on this business and I've been trying to do this. I've been trying to be an artist. I've been trying to be a healer. I'm trying to do a coaching business for so long, and it's not working. Like, I'm just making enough money to live off, but I'm going into scarcity and I'm struggling sometimes. And what's wrong? And so that's usually where I work with people, is bringing in that feminine energy in those spaces. But it can also be applied to your career as well, in terms of how you relate to your boss and your colleagues, how many boundaries you put in with your work, how to find more balance. Like if you have a family and you want more balance with your family and your career, and you're working and, you know, maybe you're a manager and you're always on your phone and things, that's also where you can bring in that feminine energy into your career, because it gives you that more balance and more flow.
Definitely, definitely. You talked about the way you talked, the feminine energy. It's that you said, like, coming back to ourselves, to our body, to our feelings, to hear our intuition somehow. It's also the message of Tantra. Yeah. And once I was studying, and it was saying that there would be no Tantra, which is a philosophy with more than 10,000 years. There would be no Tantra if there was no feminine energy, because Tantra fulfill our lives in general with feminine energy. Even though it talks us about the balance between masculine and feminine, because men and women have these energies inside of them or inside of us, but also it's to bring the balance, because just like you said, society it's ruled by masculine energy somehow, at the personal level, at the professional level. And the way to rebalance these two energies is to work on our feminine energy. And most of us, and especially women that got very independent or very successful in their business, they reunited a lot of masculine energy and they applied to their business, no? But also we didn't realize that we also brought this energy and also applied to our personal life. Yeah. When in this personal life, or for instance in a in a romantic relationship, for instance, where we share a lot of stuff with our partner. And if we are all the time in this masculine energy, and this partner also has a masculine energy, whether if it's a man or a woman, there would be a lot of competition. Because just like you said, feminine energy, collaboration, cooperation, and masculine energy, competition. If I'm all the time, for instance, if I bring this to our intimate field, for instance, sexuality, when I am having a sexual interaction with somebody, and I'm all the time in my control, in my mind, in my logic, in observing everything that is going on, analyzing everything what is going on, then how can I connect with my feelings? How can I connect with the receptors of pleasure in my body? How can I connect with my energetic field and feel how am I feeling? Which type of energy am I showing up to, or am I bringing to the other? Which energy am I receiving from the other? No? So also bring this feminine energy to our intimate life, and even in our daily life. For instance, I had a lot of stuff to do at my home in the day that I'm not working. But in this day, I have almost my period, or I have my periods, for instance. And we also forget to connect with the hormones of our feminine cycle. Because in 1 week, I will be very introspective. I will be very, like, I just want to hug myself and be in this place alone, no, by myself. I don't want to talk. I don't want to expand. Later on, I start to have, like the week after, I start to have some new ideas. I start, oh, okay, let me write this new project. Or how can I build this like this? I can plan something. And maybe the week after, let's say in my fertile moments of the month, I will be like very like expanded. I want to connect with people. I want to have meetings. I want to do that talk or this live, for instance. And the week after, then I start to, oh, okay, a little bit less energy outside. Let's start to turn inside. So when I apply this to my relationships, personal relationships, and also then in the business, then I can balance myself. Because if I'm in this week that I am very tired, I just want to be inside myself. I don't want to talk with anybody. I just want to see a movie and I want to read a book, or I just want to reflect about life. Then it's not the time to expand, to have a meeting, to go outside, and also for business. So, for instance, if I connect this with my cycles, as a woman, if I'm in tune with my cycles, I also can have better results in my business. No? Aha, there you are again.
Oh my gosh. My internet here, you know Mexico internet, it can be a little bit dodgy.
Yes.
But maybe
exactly.
Maybe we can put the two videos, like the videos together so people can watch the whole thing.
Exactly. That's it. So we were talking about the way that we can also embrace our feminine energy in our personal relationships. And we were talking about this to connect with pleasure. Because if we are all the time trying to be on the control when we are intimate with somebody, the mind, it's our most sexual organ. So we can connect, if we turn our mind to our body, we can connect with the pleasure. If we turn our mind to the past moments or to the future, or to be worried about the future or something, how can we connect with pleasure? How can we connect with other? So this is also a way to bring our feminine, or the importance of bringing our feminine energy to our life. Also, I don't know if you want to comment something about it.
I just think it's so important how there's like such a link with it. So, you know, bringing feminine energy in needs to be in all areas of our life, not just our personal life, not just our sex life, not just our business. but our nervous system, everything. And that's what's so beautiful about this discussion, is that it's a connection between all the different areas of who we are and who we want to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. And before you talked, I wanted to say something that you talked before. Okay, it will come later.
Yeah.
It will come later. Don't worry. But also this way of, for instance, when we get frustrated, when things are are not flowing as we wish we wish they would. When we engage in this frustration, it's because we are not also accepting, we are trying to control the situations. And it's very good to have the control of what you can prepare, what you can offer and prepare to concrete your dreams, for instance. But sometimes we forget that we are not, we cannot hold the results. We cannot control the results. And this frustration, when the results are not according to what we were willing to, then this is also like I'm getting stick to my masculine energy. I want to be in control. I'm frustrated because it didn't come out how I used to be. Like, for instance, this life, it failed with internet. Internet failed. What can I do? We are in Mexico. We know how how does this works, and I'm not getting to get frustrated about it. But it's like the acceptation and engage with this flow. And sometimes it's like, okay, maybe if it's not to go with the speed that I wanted, then I should go slowly. Maybe I should observe more. Maybe I should analyze, like, what is this really this, or should I change a little bit? How can I make? Can I feel more connected with myself, with my own rhythm? No, also in the not only business but also in the personal relationship, and also and bringing again, this is my topic, Tantra and Conscious Sexuality, bringing again the self pleasure, which is generally known as, for instance, masturbation, which actually I don't like this word. And even it has a lot of masculine energy, this word, and the way that we know how to have self pleasure. For instance, there is another way that conscious sexuality brings to the way that we can connect with our own pleasure. That I give it another name, which is self-love touch, and it's not only focused on genitals, but also focused in all the parts of our body. And it's the way that we can also bring this love, this nurturing energy to ourselves. This is also with the feminine energy that we can work in our self-love, because when I give pleasure to myself, whether hearing a really nice music that I love, whether eating a really amazing mango here in Mexico, for me, for instance, or whether touching myself, like massaging myself, like this is a very, this is some acts of self-love where I can value myself. So I also work in my self-esteem, and the way I give love to myself, I value myself, then I feel more confident.
Yeah.
No, so I can. This is a way to work for me in these fundamental pillars in our life. And these are pillars that are very important for me to feel great and empowered as a woman, but also in business, no?
Yeah, definitely. And it just connects back so beautifully, because when we feel that connection to ourselves, and when we allow ourselves, right, because so much of this is actually allowing, because feminine energy is the receiving, and we have to allow ourselves to receive. We have to be open to receiving and feel that we deserve to be receiving. So there's a lot of that work that goes in at the beginning around trauma, around connection, around feeling deserving. And then when we get to that point, then we can bring in the feminine energy into all parts of our lives. And and not just in our business and in our sex life, but in the way that we raise our children, in the way that we're friends. It's so beautiful. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. And also allowing yourself to connect, for instance, with your intuition. It's also connecting with your subconscious way, with this perception out of what is in front of your eyes. Also connecting with your emotions. How am I feeling? How connecting with the emotions of other? How can I be more empathetic with other? Because this will will facilitate the way that we engage in different types of relationships with friends, with family, with other professionals, because we are all human beings. So if I'm aware to the emotions of other, then I can set out my healthy limits to not cross the borders of others, to not allow the other to cross my my boundaries, not boundaries.
Yeah.
And also to flow, to allow myself to flow, to explore my creativity, because it's always good when we have this structure, this control about stuff, and we know where it starts, when it ends. But if we have a lot of this, we don't allow ourselves to have these empty places to explore our creativity, to discover what is there for me that I haven't listened to, that I haven't seen before. Because we think, and we tend to think that, no, I know what I'm doing. I know exactly. It starts here, it goes there, and it ends there. And we know and we count with all of these already set, but we forget that there is these white areas that are not explored yet.
Yeah.
And not only around us, but also inside of us. Like, for instance, I have my identity, no? And if I get stick a lot to my identity, how can I find out other characteristics that I have inside that I haven't explored yet? If I can transform, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's that expansion into the unknown.
Definitely. And also, so this tantra in general, it's, and the word tantra means liberation. So liberation of what is limiting myself in my daily life, to limiting me to expand. And tantra is liberation and expansion of consciousness, of everything that, when I am one, like when I'm a person and I have this version of the person that I can be, I'm limiting myself to be other versions that I can be in my life. I used to say that I am in my second life, because before I used to live my life with some rhythm, with some limiting beliefs. And now that I connect and allow myself to connect with this feminine energy and integrate it with my strong masculine energy, then I start to live life in another way. So I used to feel that I'm in my second life because of this. I discover other versions of myself that I also can be. No?
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
Well, the time is going on really fast. We have, I know, we still have 15 minutes. Okay. I thought it was...
Can we maybe just do a couple more minutes? Because I've got another call with some clients soon. So I'd really love to just...
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. So let us know, what do you have to offer to the people that are curious about your work, or maybe they would like to work with you. What do you have to offer? How do you work if you work online? You talk about some books, so tell us about this, please.
Yeah. Sure. So, so I'm an author. So I have 2 books, Your Conscious Awakening, which is an international bestseller. And that's about connecting to your consciousness and a lot of really important foundational work around intuition, around body connection, around energy, around self-healing. And then recently I wrote a book called Embody Your Calling, which has just been launched. And it's about embodying that calling in your work. So for people who are working as healers, coaches, creators, artists, anyone who's in that space where they've chosen a path that's really aligned to their soul, and it's advice and guidance on how to make that more sustainable and on how to make that more connected to your everyday journey, and do the boundary work that you need to do. Hi, Hannah. And so those are 2 books that I wrote, which if you're interested in starting off and just, you know, taking on that energy and learning, that's a really good place to start. And you can send me a message and I can send you the links for those. I also have a mastermind called In Flow, which is about connecting yourself to that feminine energy in your business and how to implement more sustainable business practices and that feminine energy into either your existing business or a business you're just starting, or if you're in a manager position, how you have some sort of corporate role, how you can apply it into your career as well. So it's not just limited to people who have their own business, but for people who are intuitives. And Hannah's part of our mastermind, who's joined here. She's very excited. It's starting in a couple of weeks, but we can be bringing in new people when the time is right. So if you've been listening to this and you think I need to put this into my business, into my career, then you can just send me a message and we can have a talk and see whether it's the right fit for you, for your business. And if you're just wanting to connect more and learn more, I would say the best thing is to follow me. I do lives, I have a podcast, there's lots of content out there that you can watch, and then when the time feels right, just reach out and let me know you'd like to work with me. And I have lots of different ways to work with me and lots of programs and things.
Wow, amazing. I'm very happy for you, and congratulations also for your work. I really admire your work. In my case, if you want if anybody wants to explore their sexuality in a conscious way, connected to their own truth, how to start to unbuild limiting beliefs in sexuality, how to start connecting better with our pleasure in life, not only in sexuality, but also in life, in our daily life, but also with our sexual pleasure, to find out our orgasmic spots, to start to work with our sexual energy, with some pranayamas, with some dance, or even work on self-love, self-esteem, self-confidence. So this is also a transformational work that I do. And I mainly work with women, but also every time that some man is coming up to work with me, I also am open to that. I already have worked with some men. So you can contact me by Facebook, by Instagram. We will lead all the links in our video, because we will put this on YouTube. So anything that you will need from us, we are available. So once again, Raphael, thank you so much for your participation in this live. It was a pleasure to receive you here in my Instagram podcast, let's say like this, in my lives. And enjoy a lot in where you are.
Yeah, thank you. It's been such a pleasure, and it's such an important topic to be sharing more. So I'm really glad that we could be sharing this to people and reaching people and connecting people from across the world.
Exactly. That's it. So I hope you keep enjoying there where you are right now, close to Puerto Vallarta, no? I was going to change to Spanish.
Yeah.
So enjoy a lot there. I hope to see you again before each of us go out of Mexico. Maybe we'll meet in Europe, maybe some other place again.
Yeah, definitely. It's all on the cards. Yeah, and we'll just stay connected.
Yes.
And yeah, and if you guys have loved this, you can comment on here and maybe we jump on again and share some other topics if people have got any other questions or things. So if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, just if you've got questions, just throw them into the comments and we can be both answering. And if people have loved this, then yeah, maybe we do another.
Exactly, exactly. And I also would say that in Portugal, in June, I will do a retreat with a Spanish teacher on sacred sexuality. And later on in September, I'll be facilitating, co-facilitating a retreat in Madrid, close to Madrid, with my teacher of Tantra. I will put everything in my social links in Facebook, in Instagram. So if you want to be aware, just have a look on that. Follow me, and follow Raphael, and we will be here and available to answer your questions.
Yeah.
So Raphael, send you a big kiss, big hug. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Cool. I'll connect with you.
Yes.
And yeah, thanks for this live. It's been great.
Yes, the same. I enjoyed a lot. Bye bye.
Ciao.
And thank you for everybody that was present here also. Ciao. Bye bye.